us in this show as we take a look at condos for fish. Then follow along on a river cleanup. But first, let's explore the world of the crayfish.
They look like miniature lobsters and taste quite scrumptious. So why are crawdads considered such a problem? Because they're lean, mean eating machines. They'll eat anything and everything. Crayfish are omnivorous, feeding on aquatic plants and animals, including lily pads, insects, snails, frogs, baby turtles, fish and fish eggs, and even garter snakes. Crayfish, also called crawdads or mudbugs, are not native to Arizona. They were introduced to our waterways in the 1940s as live bait. Since then, crayfish have become a problem to Arizona's natural habitats and native species. Crayfish can turn a naturally healthy, thriving river that is home to many species of plants and animals into a biological void that is home to, well, just crayfish. In Arizona, crayfish reduce water quality by eating aquatic plants that filter and oxygenate it. With plants gone, soil is no longer held in place. Feeding or burrowing crayfish stir up gravel, rocks, and soil, increasing the silt in the water. The presence of crawdads is easily demonstrated, making it an ideal subject for a Focus Wild Arizona lesson plan.
Focus Wild Arizona is the environmental education program for the Arizona Game and Fish Department. What we try to do is reach out to teachers and provide them with the resources that they need to do standards-based education in their classroom.
We're going to make our observations for the day. So what I want you to do is make sure you have your science notebooks out.
Focus Wild develops curriculum, lesson plans, and resources, including posters and books that teachers can use in the classroom. All of these resources are available on our website at azgfd.gov/focuswild.
The lesson that the teachers can actually download from the website, it's called The Trouble with Crayfish.
Part of the fun of the teacher workshops is actually getting to run through the lessons. Trouble with Crayfish starts with an activity where the kids, or in this case the teachers, become a fish in the stream. Then you introduce a crawfish.
Now the crayfish moves a little different, okay? You're going to have to hop. Okay?
And see what happens to the fish and to the stream.
So they get to sort of role play this. And that's followed up then by sort of a writing exercise where they're actually shown two pictures of a stream, one that has crayfish invasion and one that doesn't have crayfish invasion. They compare those.
Look at it, think about your observations in your head.
And then they actually have to write a recommendation to the Arizona Game and Fish Department about what should be done about this particular stream. And so it takes science and then it integrates the language arts aspect into it as well.
Focus Wild gets teachers out in the field to discover these lessons for themselves.
For teachers, what we wanted to do is bring them out in the field and actually see the damage that crayfish can cause and just how they can take over an ecosystem, destroying the native fish, destroying the plants, basically turning a creek into nothing, just this murky, dense waterway that not a lot of other things can survive in. And so we bring them out here so that they can see that for a couple reasons. One, so that if they happen to be using crayfish in their classroom, they don't decide to release them back in the waters because that's where they feel they should belong. And also so that they can take that understanding about non-native species, invasive species, back to their classroom to say, you know what, this is why we support native fish and native species, and we don't want to have these other invasives out here, and these are the problems that they cause.
Trouble with Crayfish is only one of many lesson plans offered through Focus Wild. Teachers have a whole smorgasbord to choose from.
So on the website, there's a variety of different lesson plans that they can download from all grade levels, all the way right now down to basically kindergarten through high school, lessons that are absolutely free, most of them available as a PDF that can be downloaded. The resources come with them if they require maps or anything like that that's included with the lesson plans. Some of the workshops that we've offered and are going to be offering in the future, along with the crayfish one, we've offered one focused just on predators where we take people out to Mount Lemmon actually, and we tracked mountain lions and we tracked bears.
Oh, there it is. There's a baby.
Baby crayfish.
Got a baby.
We're going to be hopefully in the near future offering a bat workshop. We're going to be offering one on black-footed ferrets. Some of these really cool wildlife that's going on in Arizona that they can come and at least experience firsthand and then find ways to bring them into the classroom.
Other very popular resources include grant opportunities. Teachers can get grants to build schoolyard habitats focused on native plants and wildlife. In addition, the department offers an environmental education grant for those interested in developing an environmental education program. They can actually apply for $10,000 to get those resources for their classroom. It is against the law to release crayfish or any other plant or animal into Arizona waters without permission from the state. That includes live crayfish throughout most of Arizona. And that creates a small problem. How do teachers get the crawfish to the class if they can't transport them?
Now, we have been working with the school districts and with other branches within the department to actually come up with a compromise where schools can acquire the crayfish, but to do so they're going to have to contact the department and figure out the ways to do that, because there's some certain things, there's some forms that they have to download and fill out. They have to make sure that the crayfish are being handled responsibly and that an individual actually is caring for those in a way so that we ensure that they don't get put back in the waters.
Money to put on these workshops is provided by the Heritage Fund, which comes from the state lottery. So the crawfish we caught today?
Eat them!
We're actually going to be boiling them up. We're having basically an old-fashioned crayfish boil. We're going to throw them in there with some potatoes and some corn and hopefully have a little meal out of them.
This is really delicious.
So our goal for environmental education is hopefully to make people aware of what's in their own backyard. I mean, so they can step outside and they have an appreciation for what's going on out there. They may not necessarily become hunters and fishers, we understand that, but hopefully they'll at least become supportive of the outdoors and some of the programs that the Arizona Game and Fish Department may do in the future. Because these students that we're teaching now are going to become the voters and are going to become the massive citizenry of Arizona in the next few years.
Male or female? It's a male, it has no hole. Is this Look at this one! Whoa!
Speaking of eating, let's go to Camp Verdi for a crawfish cookout. Some people call them bait, and others call them a meal. However you choose to look at them, one thing is for sure. Crawfish are a tasty treat that a lot of people have come to enjoy. Crawfish, like shrimp or lobster, belong to the scientific class crustacean. They can be harvested from habitats such as lakes and rivers. Crawfish are a non-native species that are becoming a problem in some of our lakes. Fortunately, they are fun to catch and good to eat, so come along as we take you on a good old-fashioned crawfish festival.
It's like that.
Every year, the Verdi Valley Crawfish Festival attracts lots of people.
Everybody seems to enjoy it. Getting a good crowd too, a lot of people coming.
If you ask anybody who has had the privilege of dealing with these pesky creatures, they'll tell you it's all about the spices. There's a wide variety of spices you can choose from, and all are sure to tingle your taste buds. We asked the cook.
Well, first you heat you up a big pot of water, get it rolling, then you add you some lemons. More seasoning the better. Some lemons, onions, and we got a Creole seasoning, which is cayenne pepper, black pepper, paprika, and a few other things, garlic salt. And you really want to get your water good and spicy. Dump it in there, let it get rolling good, boiling. Then you drop your crawfish in there, and when the water starts boiling good again, you cook them about 2 minutes. Then you take them out, ready to eat. You go over there and start shucking them. Get a good cold beer on the side, goes down good.
I bet it does go down good, but the key to remember,
the best batch is the last batch because the water's good and seasoned and it's all good. No, but it's good. Here we go again. Oh, we need some fire on that sucker. I think these are about ready.
speaking of ready, check these babies out. Cooking and eating crawfish really isn't a challenge.
Hey, this is it! Crayfish, yeah!
My first crayfish festival. It's much
She's
wonderful.
from Germany, came
all the way
over
from
here.
Germany to eat this. Yes.
The best way to learn? Well, see it for yourself at the festival.
They look great.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
You gonna get a big dish?
2 big ones and the etouffee both. We love them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Etouffee, all that stuff. It's great. Looking forward to it.
Good food, friends, family, some dancing, and what you have is a recipe for fun in the sun. So tell me, what kind of festival would this be without a crayfish eating contest? Yes, that's right. The person who eats the fastest wins.
Keep eating. We need an inspector real quick. Got enough or Well, I won last year, and I came back to defend the title, and it's been fun. This place is great. The whole Cajun culture is nothing but family and friends. It's what the Cajun people are all about. And to see this and being so far away from Louisiana and having it here in the state of Arizona, it is just fabulous. And there's so many kids around here, so many families. There's activities for everybody. And food, if you don't like it, that's fine. But there's always something here that you can find to like. It is the most funnest place. And I tell you what, it makes me homesick. I would like to say, everybody in Arizona, next year, be here. I'm coming to defend my title. This is the greatest place. Bring your money, bring your family. Everybody come here. This is great. Camp Verdi. No place else but in Arizona. Now listen to the jingle, rumble and the roar. Let's ride along, we'll dance through the hills by the shore.
The Verdi Valley Crawfish Festival is held every year at the Camp Verdi Community Center. Verdi Valley is located north of Phoenix and east of Prescott. From I-17, take exit ramp 287 and head east. You can't miss it. Next up, learn how some lucky fish are getting new homes.
Hugging the shoreline of Apache Lake are clumps of what look like little stick villages. Whatever they are, they certainly don't look like prime fish habitat. At least not yet.
What we're building here is the Pisces Pyramid, and it's a construction of 3 pallets that are built together like a teepee, and then we have 10 cement blocks that are placed on the inside for weight. And once they're all put together, we put them together with zip ties, so we don't need any extra tools to do the work out here. The last part of it is actually putting trees up against the sides of it. So the Pisces pyramids, the pallets form the structure, and just for something to anchor the trees onto, and we're using juniper trees in this case.
This is easier than growing them, isn't it? Easier than cutting them.
The Pisces that will be calling these pyramids home are the fish of Apache Lake, who have been without woody areas to hide in for some time.
This kind of replicates what you'd find in nature as far as standing timber or submerged timber in a lake bed. In other words, these are trees, overhead cover for the fish as well as escape cover for the little fish, so they'll be in and amongst the branches, but also actually inside the pyramids themselves because it furnishes some overhead cover for the species. You can see the lake bed here at Apache Lake is devoid of trees, brush, anything but rocks. And cover-loving fish species such as largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, black crappie, bluegill, even channel catfish love that type of habitat. In order to escape predators, the little ones, the bigger ones can actually use it as resting cover. So there's a number of reasons of why the fish use it. One of the other primary reasons for putting the habitat in the lake is that it's a great drawing place for various fish species so the anglers can get to them. This is what we're doing, is developing some honey holes, if you will, for fishermen out here at Apache Lake.
Arizona Game and Fish Department Region 6 Fisheries Program Manager Jim Warnicke and his army of volunteers are taking advantage of the fact that Salt River Project lowered the water level at Apache Lake 50 feet for inspection and maintenance of Horse Mesa Dam. This allowed the new habitats to be built on the exposed shoreline at what will be the optimum depth once the lake is refilled. Most warm water fish species occupy the water column above the thermocline, that layer of water where warm and cold water meet. This thermally mixing zone is located 22 to 25 feet below the surface of the water. A cold water zone exists below the thermocline where dissolved oxygen is rapidly depleted, so most fish avoid this area of the lake.
The reason that we're putting these Pisces pyramids and the complexes in the places that we are, it's important not just because it's a barren lake bed in this portion right here, but also that it's at the 25-foot contour line. That is, when the lake is full, this is 25 feet underwater where we are right here. And for the most part, during the warmer months of the year, our fish species that we're trying to attract to this, namely the basses, the sunfish, the crappies, the catfish, will stay at or above this level.
All right, set it at 2.67. That'll be down 25 feet.
In order to ensure the new habitats are built in just the right locations, laser sighting was used to locate and mark the 25-foot contour depth of the lake. And to make sure they stay put, GPS technology was used to mark waypoints at each habitat site. The new habitats are being built in clusters at 8 different locations around the lake that were chosen due to their topographic features that fish naturally use or inhabit, such as edge of ledges, underwater islands, and drop-offs next to underwater washes or drainage areas. The project has been one of volunteer labor and donated materials. So why would all these people want to do so much work on their day off?
To give back. This is one of our favorite lakes to come to. We've taken our kids here for years. And the smallmouth bass that was going on here, they're beautiful bass, 2-pound bass. It was a fun fishery, and it's a shame to see that they're all gone. And hopefully this will help bring them back, some habitats, place for them to grow up and become strong, healthy fish, big enough so they're not bait anymore.
These are our volunteers that we're using from bass clubs and just average sportsmen and women that really love this lake, and they want to do something, give something back to the lake, and this is a great project for them to do so. It's good fish conservation and it's fun work. I mean, it's kind of heavy work, but you get your hands dirty and get out there. We couldn't get all this work done without our volunteers.
And it's not glamorous work.
Well, we're transferring the pallets and the blocks from the shoreline up to where they're putting the habitat in. And it's just trips back and forth and helping build the habitat. You know, I've fished this lake on and off since probably 1985, 1984, somewhere around in there, and had a lot of good experiences on this lake, and it was kind of a shame when the fish kill happened last year. And so to be able to come out and help is pretty much an honor, because this is a good lake, and it's a shame what happened to it. So anything I can do to help to bring it back is, you know, I'm more than happy to do it.
Terrific. Well, show me your gloves.
Oh, this is the third day on these gloves, and they were brand new Craftsman Mechanics gloves, and the blocks are so abrasive that they've just absolutely shredded them. So, but that's okay. As long as my hands aren't too bad, that's fine.
Not only was all the labor donated, but so were the materials.
Actually, to get sponsorship and donors for the project wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I would call up some of the bigger pallet companies in the state of Arizona, the bigger block companies such as Superlight Block. I'd tell them what I'm doing and what I had in mind, and if they might be willing to donate some of their materials to this project in the name of fish conservation. And I was surprised how many said yes, we would, and how much would you like. They were not only happy to give me the materials, but also deliver them in their semi-trucks, tractor-trailer rigs, and so forth, all the way up to Apache Lake, which for many of them is more than a 200-mile trip from the Phoenix area out to the lake and then back again. So it's several $1,000s worth of not just materials, but also delivery costs.
The juniper trees they are using came from the Young area and are courtesy of a Forest Service juniper thinning project on top of a mesa. Basically, Jim was allowed to haul off all that he wanted, and he now has almost 600 trees to complete the pyramids. So if you were an Apache Lake fish, would this look like home to you?
Makes my mouth water just looking at it. I've been looking for something in this darn lake that I could get up next to and personal, and if I was a bass, I just want to get in there and enjoy myself.
Once SRP was finished with its work on the dam, the waters began to rise back to normal levels, and the Pisces Pyramid slowly slipped beneath the surface. A brand new housing project in place, just waiting for its first residents to move in.
In our next story, take a look at what people are doing to make things a little better.
Once upon a time, before Stewart Mountain Dam was built and Saguaro Lake was formed, the Salt River ran free through the Valley of the Sun. But after the dam curtailed the river's regular flows in the 1930s, the Salt River bed became a neglected dumping ground in the heart of Phoenix. After being a city eyesore for many years, the Rio Salado Habitat Restoration Project was formed and began to rebuild some of the native wetlands and riparian habitats that were historically found along the Salt River.
We have been open to the public since November of 2005, so we are close to completing our second year. And it's been a project that's been 40 years in the making. We had someone with a vision who wanted to restore the Salt River to a natural riparian or river ecosystem, and we've finally been able to see the first part of that conclusion with the first 2 phases of the project. And we're looking forward to expanding and growing this summer. We're actually going to be going into more restoration work so the public can see hands-on, up close and personal, just how much goes into a project like this.
When the project is finished, it'll be 5 miles long and cover almost 600 acres that extend from 19th Avenue to 28th Street. Visitors can enjoy the area on a hiking and biking system that winds throughout the property. The heart of the restored area is the demonstration wetland located at Central Avenue, 1/2 mile south of Interstate 17. On this day, volunteers are picking up trash along the project area as part of National River Cleanup Day. This is the first year that Phoenix has participated in the national program, and they now plan to make it an annual event.
We actually have a wide variety of people that have joined us today. Citizens who live in the local community, neighbors. We have the U.S. Marine Corps, Phoenix Clean and Beautiful, South Mountain Village Clean and Beautiful, Girl Scout troops, and just compassionate individuals who want to come out and make a difference.
Even though tons of trash were cleaned out of the project area years ago, new debris is washed into the riverbed through the city's storm drains. Volunteers and City of Phoenix staff are concentrating their efforts today on those areas. And you'd be surprised at what they find.
New baseball, bottle cap. We found a tire. Another bottle tire.
One of our girls found a rubber ducky. We're having a contest who can find the most unique item. I think the rubber ducky's tops right now.
What we want people to go away with today is that there are effects beyond a single action. For instance, if someone's driving down the street and they throw a water bottle out the car window, or they pour things into their driveway and wash it down the street, it has a greater impact. It just doesn't disappear magically. We actually have 31 storm drains in the project. There's a large amount of trash and debris that it gets brought down into this riparian ecosystem. So we hope that people just take the time to think about what they're doing, help dispose of trash in a proper manner, and even reduce the amount of trash that we produce by recycling and reusing materials.
The restoring of this section of the river has gone a long way in showing residents what can be done when a community comes together to make something good happen.
What I think is interesting is that most people tell me that when they're driving up and down Central Avenue, they go over the bridge, and what was once more of a dry, dusty sort of landfill, for lack of a better term, is now a wonderful riparian ecosystem. There's ribbons of water, cottonwood trees, and it's almost like you're visiting a different state when you come down here. So I just want to have an open invitation to the public to come down and see what has been done in the Rio Salado project. It's a wonderful restoration area. There's bird watching, there's hiking, biking. It's a great place for families, wheelchair users, strollers, and it's just a great opportunity for the public to get out of the hustle and bustle of the city into a more tranquil and serene environment.
The area has become such a successful riparian habitat that Audubon, Arizona is planning to build its new education center here.
Audubon has become partners with the City of Phoenix. We feel very fortunate to be part of this whole Rio Salado project, but the City of Phoenix has leased us 4 acres on the south side of the river where we're going to build a center, and we're going to build a riparian habitat as a demonstration area and do some interpretive trails over there, and we will be the interpretive piece for the whole Rio Salado. So hopefully people can come to the Rio Salado Audubon Center, and then they can go out and enjoy it themselves and understand it a little bit more, and through understanding then love it a little bit better.
The Arizona Game and Fish Department, through their partnership with Audubon, Arizona, is going to fund the wetlands portion of the new center as a way to provide important education about this very special ecosystem.
It's only good if you're out here actively participating in it. Since we've opened in 2005, we've actually had 204 different species of birds come through here, so we know it's a wonderful habitat for the wildlife and for the bird species. But it's also just a great opportunity to come out and relax, clear your mind, maybe spend some time with the family. And we also offer a lot of ranger-guided tours and programs if you're not sure what to do or where to go. You can come out and join one of our customized programs and really see for yourself.
For more information on anything you've seen on our show, go to our website, azgfd.gov.